Hello and welcome to WD18, the Watford fan channel, and welcome to a really special video. A few weeks ago, I was lucky enough to sit down with Watford legend Troy Deeney and discuss all things mental health, what it's like in terms of having mental health as a footballer, how he feels about himself now, and obviously at the start of his football journey as well. We also discuss things away from football, such as trauma, the loss of his father as well, and the importance of family. I'm really looking forward to all of you watching it. In the comment section down below, or in the description rather, we're going to leave a few links. If you are struggling, please go and have a look at them and get in touch with someone, speak to someone, and hopefully things will get better soon for you. I also just have to say that this video was recorded prior to Troy Deeney leaving Birmingham City. So he was still a Birmingham player at the time. He was still the Birmingham captain. Obviously, now he has left Birmingham. So just bear that in mind as well whenever he does refer to his time playing for his boyhood club. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more and enjoy. Troy, thank you so much for joining us today, mate. First off, just wondering, what does mental health mean to you personally?
Oh, it's something that's developed, hasn't it, over time? I think for me personally, it's understanding where your brain's at and why you do certain things. For others, I think, we spoke about this personally when you was going through what you was going through. Is a lot of people deal with things differently. I used to internalize a lot. I used to keep things in. That's why it was really bad for me, because I used to be angry all the time, but it works really well with football.
Yeah.
So in normal life, I'm angry and I'm aggressive, and I got into trouble, as we all know. But on the flip side, football was going so well, and it was like he's running over people. Is this and so it was kind of like the Hulk is the only way I can describe it. You know what I mean? I was Bruce Banner or the Hulk, and at some point it ended up being the same person. So for me, mental health looks like currently, mate, I would say having a set routine, having a purpose, a life purpose, and then also taking the time to stop and smell the flowers. I think we get so caught up in the rat race, don't we, of whether it be uni, whether it be money, whatever it might be, something's always more important. And just sometimes just stop. And I've done that, this week. I just come back off holiday and just took the week to just chill. No business, no nothing. Just look back and go, do you know what? I'm not in a bad position. We all could sit and complain, don't we, about what we've got, or we haven't got, should we say, what we haven't got. And 80% of your life could be great, but we fixate on why is this 20% crap? And I've just started to understand, mate, let's just enjoy the 80% because it's perfect, is it?
Yeah, of course. It's often like the cliche that you can either be a half glass full, half glass empty sort of thing. But I'm obviously saying this as a supporter. I watched you at Watford growing up through my whole childhood, pretty much. And I think people often see footballers as these invincible sort of people. You've got all this money, you've got this lifestyle. How vulnerable would you say you are as a footballer, though?
That's a great question. I would say you're very, very vulnerable. I think the frustration that people don't get to see the true side of football is that, like, I think the representation you just gave was perfect. I think if you asked, Sally down the road, what does a footballer look like to you? They get paid loads of money. That's the first thing in issue. They get paid loads of money. It's not that difficult. They just kick a ball around. That's kind of the two generic statements are fixated with it. When you actually get to the nitty gritty of it, and we was talking about this yesterday as a family, just over dinner, because I had a friend over, and I had a glass of Coke with my dinner, and my kids were like, "Dad, no fizzy drinks." We don't have fizzy drinks in the house normally. And I was explaining to my kids and my pal, like, this is my treat. Like, I don't get to do this that often in the season. And he couldn't comprehend. He's like, but you train so much, you burn it all off. Like, I said, yeah, but what goes into your body it's got to be better than a Coke. Do you get what I mean? So just little things like that. And I know some people, Coke, who can give that? But you give up Coke, you give up sweets, you give up chocolate, you give up birthdays, you give up Christmas, you give up everything. And I think the biggest thing for me around where mental health kicks into football is twofold. One, injury, because people don't understand when you're injured, your days are longer, but you're away from everyone. You're in the injured group, and the main group and the fun and everyone, all their attention and focus is on winning on the Saturday or the Tuesday, wherever it might be, which is obviously fine. But I think there needs to be more help and support around injured players.
Yeah.
Whether it just be a good morning, how are you getting on? You know, we haven't really forgotten about you, or even breaking it up. You know, my longest injury, I did my Achilles at the year I ended up leaving Watford. That was 5 months. Somebody, that's every day, by the way, you're in every day, no days off. And someone just come out, like, don't train this morning, just come and watch training, be around the group, just listen. And that does so much for like an injured player. And then secondary is the match day, is the game day. There's so much pressure and anxiety and built up tensions that are around that actual game. So if you think of a normal week, Saturday to Saturday, right? So let's say you train Monday, you train Tuesday, you're off Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday are massively intense. Wednesday's down. Thursday, Friday is all about that team that you're playing on the Saturday, whether it be Swansea or whoever. You're playing that team. Then all the morning of Saturday is about that team and about you.
Yeah.
Then you get to the game and you come off the bus, there's fans there, all these fans that have got stickers and cards, and you're expected to be in the zone, say hello to every single one of them, sign all of their things, because if you walk past them on social media, you don't care about the players.
Yeah. What have you made of that? What have you made of that recently? Because obviously there was a video that went out of Arsenal getting stick. Leeds got stick as well.
It's nonsense, because do you know what it is as well, where it really, can I swear on this?
Yeah, sure.
What really pisses me off the most about all of these, when the lads stop, like they do probably 20 times a week, no one posts that. And if they are stopping and doing it, guess what everyone says? It's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
So you can't win either way. Even if you stop and do it, you're expected to do that. But if if you notice, whenever teams highlight that they didn't stop for the fans, it's just after a loss.
Yeah. Never.
Never do. If Watford played Man United and all the Watford players walked past, but they beat Man United 4-0, who would turn around and go, they didn't sign that little girl's shirt over there?
No, exactly. But I think as well, a lot of it does come down to social media, and probably at the start of your career, such a thing wouldn't have been as prevalent, perhaps. Do you think that, I mean, particularly now and over the next few years, I think particularly lockdown, we've seen abuse of players going up massively on social media. I'm not sure why that is, why it's been since the lockdown, particularly.
People are bored, mate, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. But as a footballer yourself, right, you get home from a game, let's say you've had a stink, you've been sent off, for example, you go on social media. We were speaking the other week actually about your red card against Leeds in the last day of the season.
Oh yeah, Michael Brown done me 10. Yeah.
But let's say that was now. You get home on social media, you search up your name. I'm not sure if you do that, but you see all the abuse coming towards you. How does that actually affect you as a footballer?
Hey, watch this. You don't even have to
as well.
I'm going to show people just how quick it is, right? Watch. So if I go, let me see what this. See there?
Yeah.
Instagram. That's you, Sam. So a bit of you chatting on there. I can literally just see that there. I can press that button there.
Yeah.
There it all is.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That's how simple it is. It's 2 buttons, and you can see the amount of. And I haven't posted since the goal, and I just did that just because it's 10 years. But if you post regularly, that's every 15, 20 seconds, 100 comments, 100 people. It's like it's mental, mate. But it's twofold, right? So every fan has an opinion, and every person can have an opinion. That's no bother, right? I have no issues with that. My issues personally is when people are personal, nasty, and vindictive. So, for example, I had one a few years back, and someone was just being a knob, and you know, like I've seen it for a few weeks because I do read it all. I actually find most of it quite funny, and I've just kept seeing it. And I remember just going back at this guy. I was like, man, I just saw your profile. You're an absolute helmet, like, chill out. Like, you know what I mean? I saw what, and this is how stupid I am as well, because I'm so petty. I want to go back and forth with people. I'm like, saw your missus, saw your kids, saw like all your profile stuff, and you've got an opinion about me and mine. Now, if I wanted to, I could do that about you.
Yeah.
But guess what? If I do that back, Sam, who's the bad guy?
It's always you. It's always the person with the.
So it's like, and also the beauty of a fan, and the beauty that you guys have, and you'll know this better than most. You could, let's just say I got sent off against Leeds.
Yeah.
You do the podcast. Fucking Troy's the worst. He ruined it. It's his fault. Fucking crap. I missed the Leicester game away. Fucking one of that. If Troy was playing, he'd have scored. Fucking shit, whatever. Then that moment comes at that game. Troy's great. I always knew he was the best. The ability to change your opinion.
Yeah.
But along the way of you changing your opinion, I'm getting grief.
Yeah.
Players are getting grief, and it does take a special mindset to be able to just go. You find now 95% of footballers that are on social media have a backup account. They have a private one now. They'll have the one that you guys see that is played well today, fans were great, excellent. We lost today, unlucky, tough result, fans were great, we'll go again.
Yeah.
See the same generic stuff. Then you'll have their private ones, but it's just about 50 people, and they're able to post what they want, and they're cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no repercussions of what you post. Just you and your mates on there, you can be a normal person.
Yeah. How do you deal with the criticism though? On the main account where it comes from? Because I know you say that you're able to laugh at it, but I look at particularly towards the end of your time at Watford, where you came out the team, we switched formation, for example, and a lot of people could turn around and go, "Oh, you see, Troy comes out the team and we improved massively."
It was me, it was Klebs. Anyone over the age of 30, it was our fault.
Yeah.
We as a team that year went through so much turmoil. And this is, if you saw that picture on Instagram with the ballerina, one with the shoe on, one with the shoe off.
I've never seen that.
I would have sent it, yeah. Basically, it's a picture of a ballerina, right? One with the shoe on, and it looks all glitzy, and the other one is with the toes wrapped and it's bleeding and whatever. And that is the perfect analogy of being an athlete.
Yeah.
You not only see the end result, the glitzy one, like Saturday or Tuesday or whatever. Actually, what football and what most high-level performances, horrible. You're probably injured. Everything hurts. And can you do it again? And can you do it again? And, you know, the petty side of me, right, is when people say, it's because of Troy we got out of there. Well, you look at the team and the budget. We should have won that league anyway. Let's call it as it is. We just got unlucky with injuries. That's fine. And politics that go on. Watford got promoted. Absolutely fantastic. Remember, the whole of that summer should get rid of Troy. Troy's rubbish. Troy's the problem, blah, blah, blah. How did you not end up that year?
Got relegated.
Still my fault?
No, it's true.
The next year, in the champ, we're going to go up. This year just gone. We're going to go up. We've got young players. It's exciting. These players will smash it up. What's everyone want to do now?
No, it's true.
Back, right? There's been a lot of calls. I see my Twitter. Troy, we need you back. Can you come back? So it's about that perception of, and as we spoke about off air, it's that perception of what actually goes on. Mm-hmm. Am I going to be the player that is fancied, does 2 step overs and puts in the top corner? Never. Mm-hmm. But within teams and within organisations, there's hierarchies and there's structures. So let's throw me any random Watford player from this year just gone that you think is underachieved.
I'll say Saul.
For example, so Ismaila. When I was there, when Caps was there, how was he playing?
He's playing well.
Why is that? Do you think, your opinion?
I think probably, firstly, the style of play suited him. But I mean, I can also say
don't worry about style of play. Don't worry about style of play because he's faster than everyone. He's quicker. Why do you think he turned up every single game ready to play?
It's leadership around him.
Because Monday to Friday, if he wasn't doing it properly, he got kicked to shit out of. When he was doing it properly, well done, mate. You're so good. Hey, make sure you give him the ball. And that's part of what you do away from like the cameras. It's not all, you know, there's Zinchenko and let's all come and have a huddle when everyone's watching. All that shit is bollocks.
Yeah.
It's what you do Monday to Friday. If he's late once for a session, pay your fine.
Yeah.
Actually, for the rest of this session, you're not going to let him be late. Now, this to some people might feel like it's barbaric, but you make sure you kick him. You make sure you let him know that we're all disappointed that you were late. You don't go out there to hurt him.
Yeah.
But every time he tries to take a run, kick him. We're going to frustrate you, and we're going to get you angry. And then when we beat you, and a lot of times in training you do end up beating them, we're going to laugh and we're going to make it. We're going to humiliate you.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, that happens to me if I'm late or if I'm training crap. It's about raising the standards on a daily basis. But if you take, so we just did Saab. Let's take a younger player, right? Any younger player at Watford
who's underachieved this season.
No, just any younger player.
Let's take Ryan Andrews.
Ryan Andrews, perfect. So we could say, let's leave Ryan out of it because he's brand new. So let's go Jeremy Ngakia, right? Jez is my pal.
Yeah.
Why is he still making the same mistakes now that he made when he came in from West Ham that he's still making now at Watford? Is that him?
No, probably not.
Or is it lack of coaching, lack of understanding, lack of confidence? Also, who's talking to him?
Yeah.
Who's staying out and doing a bit more with him, and who's making it work? And these are all the things from a player's perspective that is so frustrating for me because, again, I've got big enough and ugly enough shoulders to take most of the crap that comes on. But I see how it affects these people.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Do you think a lot of it's out of their hands, though, in terms of when they're mentally...
No. It's always in your own hands. But
right.
My mum has this saying, and I always use it, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Which basically means if they don't know how to take it to the next level, or they don't know that they're making mistakes, how are they going to know that they're making mistakes? You have to explain to them why the mistake is occurring, do some work to change it, and move on with that. But I just think the biggest indicator, and I'll show you this little bit of a gem, right? When you know a player's actually looking after his own Instagram, which is very rare nowadays, but when they're actually looking after their own Instagram, they never post when they lose.
Yeah.
But when they win, 20 minutes after.
Yeah, straight away.
That shows you where the mentality is.
Yeah.
When we win, tell me how good I am.
Yeah.
When we lose, let me hide away from it. I don't even want to speak on social media. That's the new age footballer, unfortunately, because there isn't enough support and there isn't enough teamwork within that to enable it. Like, feel safe to be who you are. Post whatever you want to post.
Do you think, though, I mean, obviously you say a lot of footballers are now looked after by agents or PR agents. And you also mentioned, I think you mentioned this to me off stream before, that you think perhaps that clubs need to have a bit more support for players when they're injured. Do you think that at football clubs as a whole at the moment, and I know you can only really speak for your experiences at Birmingham and Watford, maybe even Walsall, do you think there's not enough support systems in place at football clubs?
I'm going to answer it and answer it that way. There is, but there also needs to be more work from players. So in certain aspects, the clubs can do a lot more. And in a lot of aspects, players can do a lot more. But also, with both of those things there's another little conduit in the middle where fans can do so much more.
Yeah.
What's the expectation of a fan?
Just want to see players every week give 100%.
No. I'm saying, what is the expectation of a fan in general? Like, what if you come to a game or don't come to a game? Does it matter? Like in the grand scheme of things?
No.
So that's my point. So we're in a world now where fans don't even come to games. They see the result. Watford lost 2-0 to whoever.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah.
Rubbish. The player that I don't like, or the player that I know the most, is the problem.
Yeah. And
it's like, but you weren't like, and also you've been at games. How many times have you been at games and you don't actually get any signal in the stadium?
Yeah.
Because there's so many people there in the traffic and it throws it up.
Yeah.
If you've actually been at a game, it probably takes 20 minutes after to actually get enough space to tweet or whatever, or in your case where you guys are all filming and whatever, half hour, 40 minutes?
Yeah. Can be literally an hour after.
Yeah, so if you're seeing Watford post now on Insta and it says 15 seconds ago, this person, you're like, you didn't even watch the game.
Yeah.
And I know that you don't even watch the game. So my point, what I'm saying is, we need players to buy into more psychology and all of these different things, and sports psychologists, all of that. But if they do, there's a massive air. You know this better than anyone. There's a massive air of vulnerability that comes with that, and it's scary, isn't it? It's quite daunting. The thought of being vulnerable. I think heightened more in men. I'd probably say. You know, like I'm talking for my generation. I don't want to talk for yours, but it's very, very high in men. Like, you know, got to be manly, can't show weakness, all of that kind of thing. And I hope that is changing now, that narrative. But I still think it is there in our subconscious.
Yeah,
but if players going to do these things and be more vulnerable, have a guess what a fan's going to do?
Yeah, no, exactly. They'll just. I feel like sometimes with football fans, it's always looking for that main weakness and just go in for it every single time.
So it's a very difficult balance, and I think especially from home fans who are probably more passionate about that said result for that week because it's their team.
Yeah.
Like, you have a responsibility as fans to, like, let me just think before I write. No one's telling you what to write and what not to write. Just think. Don't act out of emotion and it's crap and it's rubbish and it's this. And then you stood outside with your 6-year-old asking for the same person for a picture.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I just want to, we've spoken quite a bit there about you as a player, how it's felt as a footballer, but just looking a bit more at Troy Deeney as a person. Again, going back about 10 years, tough period in your life. Your dad passed away, your time in prison. I mean, it's easy to say, how did that feel? And it's difficult to really put it into words, those feelings. But what was it like grieving inside for someone so close to you?
You've actually caught me at a good time. So what's today's date? Sorry, I don't know if you timed something, but it's the 22nd of May. Yeah. My dad died on the 31st of May.
Right.
So I get into this space around the week before where it's like reflection and all of that kind of thing. And I think it's so synonymous with my life, right? So my son is going to be 14. Miles going to be 14 on the 30th. Yeah. So I have this wonderful high of, it's my firstborn, love him to death, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And literally the next day, my dad died.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate myself, I hate the world. And you know how the emotions are. It's an absolute roller coaster. But for me, when I was inside it, I was so mentally fucked up, mate. There's no other words there. Like, I was just surviving. And I got so caught from the age of 9 to my first bit of real trauma at 9 to, what was I, like 23, 22. So what? That's a lot of trauma that's happened in those years, and that was what I just got caught up in, that time frame of surviving. If you look at my Instagram posts from back then, juvenile, so like materialistic, like showing you what trainers I bought and all this. It was just because I was desperate to be liked. And that's what it was. I was desperate to be liked. I was so afraid of, like, this football dream's going to come to an end that I was self-sabotaging it anyway.
Yeah.
Really think about this as much as if you can remember back. So how old have you been 10 years ago, Sam? If you don't mind me asking.
I'd have been 10.
Fucking hell, I'm way too old. But so a decade ago, right? I'm in a space where it's you're trying so hard to be liked, but my whole football dream was never a dream. It was just me kicking a ball up a garage. My younger brother, as you know, was the footballer, so I didn't have this dream. So when I got into football inadvertently, it was like imposter syndrome, is what I know a lot about now. But at the time, it was like, this will be over soon. This will be over soon. I swear it'll be over soon. And so if it's going to be over, fuck it, let's have a good time. And that's how it was. So I never lived a life. And it's funny, I spoke, me and Mapsy were talking yesterday about a lot of things. We just having a catch up. And we were talking and I said something to him. And he was just like, mate, when you came to Watford as a 20-year-old, I didn't think we'd be having these conversations. I know what you mean. He's like, I never used to come in on a Monday.
Right.
Because I was hungover from the Saturday and the Sunday.
Yeah.
I had about 57 cats that died. You know, felt sick, all of these different excuses. And Malky was like, bless him, like, in hindsight now, I don't know how he fucking put up with me, but he'd always make an excuse for me. He'd always took me across the road to Starbucks. So first ever Starbucks ever was with Malky, bought me one. And we literally tried to sit down with me and like, come on, mate, like, how do we figure this out? Because there was a player in there in training. I was great.
Yeah.
But it was just like Danny Gray was on fire that year. Marvin come out of nowhere, come out of nowhere, bagging goals. I've just been brought in and now I'm playing like left wing and I'm not really like, fuck it, get me back to Birmingham because at least I'm respected back there. Do you get what I mean? And that was kind of how I was. So when I said all of that to say, like, when I was in jail, it was just a continuation of years of surviving, and I didn't do any of the work, the real nitty gritty work, honestly, until I was 30. I was doing therapy, but that was just to get through life, like daily, like I can't explain.
What do you look for? What do you look for in a therapist?
I've had 6, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I've had more. I went through something like 10 in 1 year.
Yeah.
I was big numbers.
But I was going to say, can I ask you a question? It might sound like I'm really not. I apologise.
No.
Did you give them enough time? Because I would say if you do 10 in a year.
Yeah, so it was tough. So I used to go to this place called the Tavistock in London, which was NHS funded.
Yeah.
I personally thought they were complete shit, to be honest with you, because the state the NHS are in, you get what you're given. And I quite like it when, at least when I have a therapist who takes an interest in me as well.
Yes.
So it'll be often the first question I'll ask a therapist is, what football team do you support? And the irony is, and I'm saying this on the Watford channel, the one therapist I still see now who I connected with is a Luton fan, unfortunately.
But do you know why? Do you know why that worked? So it's funny, because it was so far. Like, we had one at Watford, right? The year we got promoted, the Brighton year, we got first we got to the Prem. And Gino, to be fair to me, bought this guy in. I think it was Gino. It was Gino or Scott. One of them bought me. And they Professor Tim O'Brien. I don't know really name drop him because he was working for clubs, but he's just left Arsenal this year, halfway through the year, to go back into doing the stuff with at unis and lecturing and that. Mate, he came in, and again, I wish I could blow my own trouble, but I'll just tell you the truth. They said we had to go and speak to this guy for the running, because the previous 3 years before, Gino was like, back end of the season, we fall short. So let's get this guy in. And the aim was to get Fernando Forestieri to have that spark, that X factor, because me, Vince, and Iggy were scoring, and it was like, if we just might need him, that, like, how he was. He's a maverick, but you just might need him. But while he was a maverick, he sulked so much that it was like, got to get him going. We might need to get Ketchy on it. And the players that we would consider they were really valuable to us, but probably considered a little bit mentally weak or up and down in terms of their approach. Like, they could be an 8 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10. It's like, how do we get them all to 6s? Because the rest will carry us through. So anyway, that was it. So anyway, the first day Tim's in, I said, I'll speak to him first, lads, because I've done therapy. So I'll go in first, and I'll suss him out, see if he's full of shit, kind of thing. And if he's full of shit, we'll bosh him off. So I go in first, and Tim's an Irish fella, young, probably in his mid-50s now. Apologies, Tim, if you see this. Mid-50s, 60s. White hair, very... looks frail if you look at him, compared to me anyway. Do you get what I mean? Right. And we sit down and go, hi, Troy, love to meet you. I'm captain. Oh, love to meet you. He went, fucking hell. You're a fat bastard, aren't you? Absolutely, mate. Threw me. I was like, what? What'd you say? Oh, is that how easy it is to wind you up?
Yeah.
You're not fat, by the way. I just wanted to let you know. And I bet an hour and a half I was in there. I was only meant to be in for 20-minute slots. An hour and a half I was in there. And it was someone that just went, I kind of went in there in the defence. He took that out, and then we just chatted. And I worked with Tim. I still speak to him now, but I worked with Tim for 5 years.
Yeah. And
when you just get that person, mate, and that's why I said to you, if you've gone through 10, and granted, you know, NHS, and I do appreciate how difficult that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I would say to you, mate, is be as vulnerable as you can, i.e., tell the truth, even if it makes you look bad.
Yeah.
On the flip side, have a conversation more than a script. You know these, the therapist.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, I think one of the reasons why it went so badly was it would literally be me, the therapist, sat opposite sides of the room. It'll almost be like an interview, just sat there. Yes. I mean, you know this yourself. When I watch your interviews, you turn them into conversations yourself in terms of football ones. You'll turn them into conversations back and forwards, asking questions back. I almost just felt like I was being interviewed in a way. And I hated that because it just felt so artificial. It felt like, what the fuck am I doing here? And I like it to be two-way conversation. What football team do you support? Or what did you get up to over the weekend? And I know obviously there has to be a professional sort of boundary in there because they're there to do a job. But I just think for me at least, it's so important to have that person to open up to.
The professional boundary is only there for if you're going to harm yourself or do harm to others. The rest of it should be about making you as comfortable as possible while keeping a firm line and not getting distracted about what the actual root causes are. So where I'm at now in life is like a lovely lady. I won't say she's amazing, man. So it's the first person I've ever met in my life that challenges me every time. And I hate the thought of going on a call with her. Hate the thought of sitting with her. But at the end of everything, I learned something about myself and I learned something about life. And it's really good. But we're doing topics. So for argument's sake, I think I'm a very good dad. I do think I'm a good dad. But I can be better. So we're going to speak this next 6 weeks. Let's know your behavior. What gets you angry with the kids? Where are you being? I'm not very good with feelings. So where are you with the hugs, the kisses? And that's kind of where we're at. It's a nice one because I know with this topic, and people always think it's very negative and it's down, but there's nice things you can do as well, like to keep yourself in check. The kids, especially my life growing up, I had to win something to get a well done. I had to have an achievement or an award. Where it might actually be, do you know what? Your kids made the bed of their own accord today.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done for that.
No, exactly.
So it's different.
But on your kids, do you, I mean, how much has having kids impacted your mental health as well? Do you spend a lot of time worrying about them?
Good question. No. Is the honest answer. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about them. I definitely worry about them in different things. So Miles is the one that's worrying me the most at the moment. Teenager now. You know, the girls, the social demands, because he doesn't have Snapchat or any of that. I don't allow him to have any of that. But there's a lot of pressure for him to be on Snapchat and Xbox 76 hours a week and all of that. So you know, little things like that. And he's had a few little issues at school, you know, like he's got his dad's mouth, that's all I'll say. He gets himself into trouble, but he can't cash the check, shall we say. So, you know, he's had a few little issues, and that's where it worries me because, you know, in a new day and age, no one has a scrap anymore, no one fights. It's like, so I'm trying to steer him so much away from anything that he just, because he's a lovely mate. I know I'm biasing my son. He's the nicest kid I've ever met. Like all he wants to do is make other people happy, and that's one of my proud. Like all four of my kids, I'm proud of them in their own separate ways. But he's one of my proudest ones because he actually lived through all my bullshit.
Yeah,
do you get what I mean? He was 2 when I went to jail. So, for example, just for him to do that, the development that he's had. Is wonderful, but I just think, there's always something to worry about. Both of my girls, like, you know, again, everyone always talk about race, but like my girls go to heavily white school, so they've got a real phobia about getting in the swimming pool because the white girls can throw their hair up. Yeah, I'm not saying the white girls like that. My mum's white. I'm not. try to do any racial thing properly. But you know, the white girls can just throw their hair up and go in. My two girls can't do that because their hair is completely different. So just those little nuances that happen on a daily basis that you're just trying to engage and try and make them understand. And I think, do you know what my biggest job is with them? Self-worth, man. Understanding that you're unique, you're beautiful in whatever capacity you are, and you bring something to the table. Don't think you have to. For my girls, for example, if they started doing lip fillers and all this shit to make yourself look good like these so-called Instagram girls do, I think I've failed because I don't think I've put enough love into them where they love themselves. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I just want to, as a last topic then, you mentioned their self-love as well. And you did sort of briefly mention when you went inside about sort of hating yourself. And you mentioned trauma as well in your lifetime. As someone myself who I've had a whole life of PTSD, anxiety, and I've learned to deal with it. I've learned to deal with it throughout my life. But for you, how has that trauma manifested itself in terms of particularly as well the self-hatred? Was it only when you're inside, or have you had other moments in your life where you wake up in the morning and you think, fucking hate myself? Really?
I'll be totally honest, it still happens now. Like, I'm not out of it. I can't stand people that say, oh, you know, I was suicidal and I'm sweet. Never happened. Does you have shit days?
Yeah.
I know that. I don't have to ask you. I know you have shit days. You have days when you think, fuck this, can't bother with this.
Yeah.
It happens, but the beauty of it, and for anyone that's never suffered, or thinks they've never suffered, should I say, with any form of mental health or any issues, is that when you have a plan and you have a routine, and like mine's gym, I throw myself into gym. I know people think I'm fat as whatever, but trust me, I'm not. I like to go, right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do an hour on the bike, or I'm going to do 40 minutes on the treadmill.
Yeah.
I know once I've done that, my mood just comes up. And now that's just what works for me. That might not work for you or work for the best, but for me, once I've physically trained, I've gone back upstairs, I've had a shower, and I'm like, oh, it's feeling a bit better now. Like, I've had the day kind of thing, and then whatever else comes throughout the day is wonderful. Like I said to you before this, I didn't get back in until 3 this morning.
Yeah.
9 o'clock, my day starts today in terms of back and interviewing and doing all this kind of thing. But I could have easily gone, oh, do you know what? Not today, Sam. I'm tired. And because I've got that routine, it's like, right, I was actually up at 7:30.
Yeah.
Did my half an hour on the treadmill, took the kids to school, come back, right, back into work mode. And it's just getting that. I personally need that routine of doing something and understanding it. And then just to tie back into your question, I think that how trauma has manifested in me is in my behaviors. I saw like a massive unrespect. I don't know if you know this. If I interrupt, I'll always go, sorry to cut you, or apologies for this. It's just a big unrespect. I think it's something that's gone in the world anyway. But if I feel that someone's been intentionally disrespectful to me, I just can't have it. And then I also think, secondly, just that anger. So where I'm from and in the community that I'm from, it's like, if we didn't have a discussion, we either argued or we fought. There wasn't a, Sam, what do you think to João Pedro's move to Brighton? And you could go, I think it's good for the club, it's this, and I'd be like, no, it's not. And it'd just be an argument. And the argument either ended in both of us walking off and going, you're a prick, and we both just walk off this way, or we scrap.
Yeah.
And that, up until about a year ago, 2 years ago, was still my mentality, and daily fighting that. Like road rage, and I'm in the right, and this guy's still trying to push his car in. Man, I want to get out and punch his fucking head in. I'm not going to do it, but that's where my head is like, like, imagine that.
What's changed? What's changed in the last year or so then?
Happiness. I give so much credit. I won't give it to her when she's in here because she'll use it against me, but to the missus, mate, she just don't have it. When you meet someone, and I hope you will meet someone, you get a partner, you know, and this goes for all, you know, any sex, any of that, whatever your feelings are towards, you know, the opposite sex. But for me, it's like I met Alicia, and if you put our two, like who we are in them search engines, I don't even know what they're called, the dating apps.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even put us together. It put us in two different worlds. But fundamentally, our heart and our core, we're the same person.
Yeah.
So when I do certain behaviors, she just looks at me and goes, "The fuck you do?" And no one's ever done that to me in my whole life. It's always been, "Oh, he's the footballer, so let's kind of mold to what he likes." And she's just like, "That's not how we do things. You want to be with me, we do it this way."
Yeah.
But we have dinner at 6:30 every night at the dinner table. No phones for an hour.
Yeah.
Now, to some people, that's normal. To me, 6:30 every day dinner. Maybe you get dinner when you're on the go and you're in and you're on your way out and whatever. And it's just little things like that, little staples that she's put in. And then we talk as well. We just like I say, we went away and we spent 3 hours on Thursday just walking.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere, just walked around Bodrum, just walking around, talking life, kids, how are you, how are that? And before you know it, mate, you're knackered.
Yeah.
Not physical, just from the offload.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had that where you've offloaded so much.
Yeah, of course.
You sleep like a baby.
Yeah, I had that. I had one the other week. I mean, I've had a bit of an up and down time at the moment, to be honest. But I was in the kitchen with my housemates here at uni, and I'd come down. I'd just done an hour of work. It was shit writing that day. I come down and I've got a lot going on at the moment, and I just offloaded everything, to be honest. And you're right. I felt better after just swearing, just calling out everything in life that I'm not enjoying at the moment. But you're right. I was knackered after, but it did help massively.
Of course it did, because you know what, you sleep well, and that's what Tim taught me. So I used to. So we just going back to Tim really briefly.
Yeah.
When was it? So I used to ask him to come on a Friday, day before a game.
Yeah.
I used to say to him, like, "Can we talk Friday?" Because I used to stay at the Grove, stay in the hotel. And by the way, that's one room I just want to put to bed. I always paid for my own hotel. Somebody said years ago that Watford paid for my hotels. That never fucking happened. If it did, I'd be a very rich man. But anyway, so I slept in the Grove, and we started talking. I came back to him after a couple of weeks. I was like, "Mate, every time I'm getting like 10 hours sleep. I only have 4 hours sleep normally before that time. 4 hours sleep. I go to bed at like 2, 3, get up at 6, 7 and crack on." I was like, "Man, I'm sleeping all the time." And he went, "Okay, that means we're getting." So we said, "Do me a favor. Next time you come in, get the 1.5 Volvics, the big bottle. Have one of those. And just drink that throughout. You need to go to the toilet, no problem. But we're going to talk for 2 hours. And then what I need you to do is refill that bottle. And when you go back to your room, drink that before you sleep.
Yeah.
And then enjoy yourself." And because I was waking up, so I was so getting everything off. I wasn't drinking away. I was waking up with headaches.
Yeah.
It was just all of that anxiety, all that tension, just like, wow. And now it's like, oh, okay. And that's why, we're like, I did a podcast with someone the other day, Jack, mate. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I listened to it. It was great. Yeah.
So we was chatting with him, and he was like, "Oh, all your like interviews are brilliant, like your after game interviews and whatever." And I can't see it wasn't the podcast to get in as deep the detail as we can with this one, but it's like, but because I had done that work the day before, when they were asking me questions like, you had Laura Woods is perfect one.
Yeah,
I had for a little bit.
One of the way one, wasn't it?
It's like,
you
think this shit's pressure. Like that's how my head's doing. It's like I'm not verbalizing that. I'm like, this isn't pressure. Let me tell you what real pressure is, because I've just spoken about it the day before with my therapist. That's real pressure. And we're all so selfish and so self-centered that we believe that our problems are bigger than everybody else's. Think about your genuine problems now, whatever you've just said, right, sir?
Yeah.
Whatever you got in your head right now, what that is. To somebody, that's the least of them. That's a great day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly.
You know, when you put our problems into somebody else's problems, like I don't know, it might be something simple that everyone can relate to. You wanted cornflakes and there's none left.
Yeah.
Fucking, I was never anything in this house. This house is shit. Blah 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 blah. All of that stuff. There's a geese that ain't even got a house.
Yeah.
As
No.
they've got fish. Like,
I mean, I'm not. I completely understand that point of view as well, and I think there's definitely a difference between your sort of everyday problems like running out of cornflakes and the more serious side of shit.
yeah, of course, of course.
But do you think as well though there's an element of I personally try not to compare people's problems because obviously in some instances some people would love to have the problems that I have at the moment, but it's relative to every person as well, if that makes sense.
And so, that's why I'm sure you've heard me in the past. I hate the word normal.
Yeah.
Because we all say normal, your normal and my normal are two different things.
Yeah.
So totally everyone's individually different. That's why when we were just talking about the stuff that I do, I'm very conscious to say that works for Troy. It might not work for everybody. It certainly doesn't work for my partner. She couldn't do what I do, and I can't do what she does. She can go and meditate. She'll just go chill for an hour. No, nothing, just her and her thoughts, clear it out, think about the world, manifestation, all of those things.
Of course, yeah.
I can't sit still for an hour. Do you know what I mean? So it's just different like that. I got a question for you actually, because I do a bit of work with a charity, and it's two-part really. So first of all, how are you actually today? Should have said this at the start.
I'm okay. I've definitely felt better. I've definitely felt worse. As I say, I've had a difficult few weeks at the moment for various problems, various reasons. Sorry. But I've taken up running recently at the moment, which I'm loving. Nice. Training for a half marathon. That's definitely made me feel a lot better. But there are certain things as well that I'm not amazing with today. And I've woken up feeling, we're recording this at about midday at the moment. And have I had the best morning? Probably not, but I've also had worse.
Yes. So, and then the second thing is, it's rate yourself 1 to 10, your mood 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being the top.
I'd say I'm at a 4 at the moment, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yourself?
So, me personally, I am with myself about 9. You know,
that's good.
Life's good.
What has been your lowest? Have you ever been at a 1?
Yeah, many times. But the challenge, what I set is to get, so for trying to think, so without trying to put my spin on things onto you. So for example, you say you just started running, right? So what are you running at the minute? Like 5Ks, maybe?
Yeah, I've just started doing 10Ks as well. So
okay. So within your training plan, right? The next time you have to, you're going to run tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to run straight after this, actually.
Okay. So when you run after this, no music, no headphones, just run.
Yeah.
And tell me you don't go from a 4 to a 5 or a 6. Because what we have to be careful of as well is what we're listening to.
Yeah.
So when we listen to self-help books, and when we listen to people that have gone through stuff and we're trying to get their book to be better, we're actually listening to their negativity as well.
Right.
It's only at the end of the book.
Yeah.
I was doing all of this stuff and it's crap. And listen to my book, it's difficult. Got to the prayer method, it's great.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, so, I mean, do you know what? I've actually personally, again, I think it might be different for everyone. And I have tried listening, running without anything. I love podcasts, to be honest with you. I think particularly, I'm not sure. I mean, you obviously got your podcast. The one that I'm very big on is Jake Humphrey's High Performance Podcast. I think it's unbelievable stuff, genuinely. I just listened to the Jordan Henderson one and the Stephen Gerrard one, and listening to their high performance themselves in terms of not just physically, but it goes a lot into the mental side of it. I find that motivating quite a lot.
Yeah, but that's the thing with motivation, though. It comes and it goes.
Yeah,
so that's why I just want to challenge you just for this one.
Yeah,
just today, just run. Yeah, no, do your 5K. I don't know how long it takes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it might be.
Yeah,
just no phone, no distraction. Just run.
Yeah, just run.
Just tell me if you feel better at the end of it.
Yeah.
And and just for the end of that, if it doesn't, it might not work for you. But I'm a firm believer in 2 things. One, you've got to feel what you're doing, i.e. the running. You've got to feel the pain, the steps, the breathing.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, motivation comes and goes, man. It does. So some days you're motivated, some days you're not. Like, it's that purpose.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're training for something.
Yeah.
But when you do the half marathon, it stops, or do you have to stick another goal in front of yourself. So why don't you now just say this is your routine? So 3-4 times a week, you're going to run. So it'll be 5K, 10K. That's just part of your routine. Do you get what I mean? So the end goal is never there. It's just a continuous cycle of doing what you need to do. And I found that works. I don't know if it worked for you. I hope it does. But I just say, just try it.
I'll definitely try it. Yeah, definitely. Troy, just to wrap up, and thank you so much for your time today. I genuinely think
I've been told off twice. I'm late already, but it's
fine. This video genuinely helped so many people. What closing advice would you give to people who perhaps are struggling at the moment?
First of all, if you're really struggling, please reach out to someone, whether that be myself, whether that be you, whether that be professionals, whoever, just somebody. Just genuinely express your problems to them. When I say problems, how you're feeling, not I've got this financial burden, and if someone will give me 10K, I'll be fine. Like that. That's not the root of your problem. Your problem is how you got to that place in the first place. Secondly, it's okay. I say all the time, it's okay to not be okay, as we've just discussed here openly. And again, thank you for being honest as well, because I think that's really important. It's okay not being okay. And thirdly, please just try and get a routine, man. It's so easy to sit and wallow. This thing, lovely, but fuck me, put it down. Put it down. Try and go an hour a day. And just got to quickly just jump back somewhere. We landed yesterday. You know when you land at the airport and it's like, bing.
Yeah.
I just looked around me. I don't even know why I did it. I just looked around me. Everyone, mate, on the phone. And the flight was 4 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours. Like, what really happened in that 4 hours? Don't get me wrong. You turn it on and it's like, you know, kids mess with your mom or something drastically happened. Totally get it.
Yeah.
But it's like, person to the left, Snapchat, person in front, Twitter. And it's like, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was 4 hours. You had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Just get used to that. Stop chasing everybody else's dream for you and chase your own, man. I think that's the most powerful thing for me. Yeah. Just what does success and happiness look like for you? Sam's version of success is different to Troy's. Troy's is different to Alicia's, and so on and so forth. It's just about being who you are and being happy with that.
Yeah, Troy, thank you so much, mate. Feeling a bit emotional after that. Seeing again the person behind the player. Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you everyone for watching today on WD18. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. As I said in the introduction, we're also going to leave some links to some sites and phone calls that you can reach out to if you are struggling at the moment. And we'll see you all soon. Up the All Nets.